Hello everyone, Michelle here from the Creative Cove. Thanks for joining me today. Today I thought we'd do some stamping and watercolor. I wanted to show you these new stamps here. They are the birdie stamps from PMartiststudios. So they take my drawings and they turn them into stamps, sponge stamps. So these are really fun. I thought we'd give them a go. And I wanted to use them in my new journal that I'm creating here. I wanted to make something a little bit kind of romantic looking. I'm kind of in that mood for a soft, lacy kind of pink romantic vibe to a journal. So I've kind of been into the soft pinks. It's probably that time of year. There's lots of snow outside, it's cold, and there's just something about these soft pastel colors that I really love. And of course, I've always loved the neutral tones. So I find the pink, the very soft pink, goes well with these neutral tones. So here's some botanical dyed eco prints that I got. I bought some scraps off a lady, and they're just stunning. And these are the little bits that are left over from other projects. Here's one here with the bigger eco print, which is kind of an attachment to this journal at some point. And this is the little scrap that's left over. The way I wired my journal or sewed my journal was a happy little accident, as Bob Ross would say. Originally I had put the eyelets here, but then realized as I went to insert my papers that my papers now had to be this short. So I extended the eyelets, but it was a happy accident because inside I now have like more options to tie even shorter papers. So that's something that happened, and I'm really glad it did. So I don't like to sew my journal inserts and my signatures in because I like to remove and work on them. I also not a big sewing lover, hand sewing, so I much prefer the tying method. And this is just an elastic cord that I use. So, and I have it in 2 colors, and I love it. So once the book's filled, I kind of shorten these and tie a permanent knot. That way the book can keep expanding until I filled it. So I thought we would do, this page here is a scrap watercolor, and I did these little sewn in scraps as well. I'm going to do a video on these because I like to make these little sketches focal points, and they just glue onto the side, and then they make cute little tuck spots for the page. So let's do this side. I think we'll do this. So I'm going to stamp them all so you can see them, but we're going to stamp this guy. Let's stamp them so you can see them. Let's do that. So these are like a firm sponge. They're very hard. So it's good to work with like a much wetter ink than I have readily available. These ink pads are really old, so it might not make the best impression, but I also really like the incomplete look. So if you're more of a perfectionist and you like things to look really, really defined, then use a wetter ink pad that I'm using right now. These were like secondhand, and I bought them a long time ago. So there's not much ink left. And you're just gonna push down firmly all over and then lift up. So that's number 1. And these are pretty big, actually. I was surprised how big they were. So they are, you know, from head to tail, they're 4 inches. And I'd say the widest part is 2¼ inches on this guy. But I really love drawing them, and then I email them to them, and then they work their magic and turn them into stamps. There's also another collection I'll be showing soon, which is the Mushroom House sketches that I did, if you're familiar with my channel. So they did 3 prints of 3 stamps of those, and I'll show those in another video. Today I want to work on the birds. This one I have to say I think is my favorite. Not that I should have favorites of my work, but there's something I really like about him. So again, I'm gonna push down. And that's that guy. He's kind of got a bit of a woodpecker look. This is more of a sparrow, kind of a woodpecker. When I draw these birds, I don't necessarily draw a specific species of birds. I just kind of draw. And I find when I draw the beak, it kind of determines what kind of bird it's going to be. So when I start with like a little sparrow beak like this shape, then I kind of go with a sparrow shape. A long elongated beak like this, it's going to be more of a woodpecker shape. So I wouldn't say these are any specific type of bird. So if you're looking for a very specific type of bird, this might not be the set for you, but if you're looking for just bird stamps, these are really, really fun. At least I think so. So he's more of a bit of a chickadee type shape. So those are the 3 stamps. And I think they're really cute, in my opinion. Let me know what you think. I will link the shop below if you're interested. I do get a small commission, just so you know, off anything that's sold. Anything off my designs that are sold. So let's do this guy. I want to do something fun in watercolor with him. I don't want to do too thick ink because these inks do bleed. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit back on. And I'm going to put him right in the middle. And I'm going to push really light because, again, this will be textured, so it won't grab all the ink anyways. But I'm just looking to get a few spots that are dark and a few spots that are light. It's perfect, just like that. Because when I go to add the paint and the water, well, I'll show you right now, it's gonna run. It's gonna bleed, which is actually what I want it to do in this video. So I want to again stick to something very romantic. So I have my Mei paint set here, and I'm just into this little bit of fuchsia, and it's very watered down because, again, I want to keep it light pink and just kind of play with this stamp. So what's nice about stamps is, well, you don't have to worry about the drawing part. You can take whatever stamp you like and elaborate it. So I'm going to soften that a little bit. Too much pigment. And I'm going to let it bleed. And then I want to let the page bleed right out as well. I just want to fill a little art piece in here, elaborating these stamps. I love drawing, and when you see your drawing become a stamp, it's so much fun. It's a little accomplishment in a way, you know. So again, I want the ink to bleed. You can get ink, obviously, that won't bleed. But I'm looking for a very, very loose, soft approach here. Almost kind of where what's the word I'm looking for? It's really just softens this stamp and dissolves into the background. It's very early in the morning here. The puppy is sleeping, so I thought, oh, I'll try and get some video done before work. But my brain has not woken up yet. So you can see I'm just pulling the color down. It's very, very soft, very pastel. I'm just working and feeling my way around. I want to leave a white border, but not a crisp white border, because again, I want it soft and muted. Now the ink will still start to dry and it won't bleed quite as much, but this is not a permanent ink, so it will always bleed a little when you add water. So you can see I'm just kind of rubbing it into the background as well. So there's a very subtle implied bird in here. It's not super defined. So I'm going to go with a little bit more intense color. And some of the wing parts, just to pop him up a little bit, in case he gets a little too lost in the background. Don't want to lose him completely. I just want him very subtle. And again, I take that clean wet brush and I'll just dilute it, soften the edges a little. And this is where watercolor is really fun to play with. So maybe I'll go into some brown here. Sorry, I don't know if that's in frame. Make sure I'm in frame. I'm dropping a little brown. It's fun to take stamps and do something a little different with them. Intensify this top corner a little bit. So you can hear the dry, just using a bit more of a dry technique here. Kind of using the side of my brush to create these textures. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna maybe do a splatter here. Just very subtle. And maybe we'll do a little bit of the brown splatter. So the paint's still wet, so it will dilute the splatter a little bit. Put too much there. I'll wet that and use a bit of paper towel. Maybe absorb a little bit in here. And then I'd either take a pen or a, in this case, I'm going to use a little bit of black paint. You have to be careful though, because you don't want it too wet, and pull out a little bit of the detail of the stamp. And if you're not sure, you can look back at the stamp and see where the markings would be, just to help you bring it back a bit. And you're just playing, using this stamp in your collection, or any stamp for that matter. But it is, I just love to manipulate them a little bit. Just be careful with that beak. We don't want to lose the sharp point. I haven't eaten yet. I've just had coffee, so I'm a little bit shaky. I gotta work while the puppy's sleeping. Oh, she's disturbed. I just woke her up a little bit. So something like that. Just quick and easy. And now I've got a little bit of artwork in my journal. I'm gonna let that dry for a second. Let's go back to these stamps. And let's see what we can do on already coffee stained paper here. So maybe you like the oranges. And again, these are not very specific looking birds, so you can really have fun painting them any color you like. They are your little artwork to play with. Kind of like a bit of a robin inspired color here. And this is not watercolor paper. This is just regular coffee paper, regular printing paper. So you see the ink has had a little bit more time to dry here, so it's not bleeding quite as easily. It's actually not bleeding at all now. So maybe if you do let inks dry, certain inks dry, they won't bleed on you. I don't know, I didn't even, it says water-based dye ink, acid-free, so I'm assuming that it would bleed all the time, but it's not right now, so that's good. Intensify under here, maybe at the back of his eye. Put some sunny yellow in there. Whatever colors you want. It's nice to leave a little natural color coming through as well. We'll darken up this branch that he's sitting on. All right, let's do this guy. Let's do him blue. And these would make such a nice little card. And again, just a nice accessory for a journal. And it's a fun way to practice with your watercolors without the stress of having to draw an image. Like I said, with the one we just demonstrated with the pink, you can do, you know, very soft impression of ink. So not a lot of the heavy, dark details come through. You can kind of paint those in yourself. And that's kind of nice as well. little brown on this guy. I've got so much stuff on my desk. Make sure I'm in frame. So there, just having fun. And you can play with the intensity. So here I have a lot of paint on my brush and not so much water. Kind of playing with those feathers. And then maybe getting into the blue the same way. Gonna let those colors set a little bit heavier in spots. Just experiment and have fun. Kind of just clean your brush and let it bleed out a little. And let's do this stick blue. Because it's art and we can do it any color we want. A little bit of brown in there just to create a little interest. Maybe go a little heavier on the brown at the bottom of the bird, just to kind of weight him down a little. Now this paper will only let me manipulate it for so long before it starts to get a little rough, so I'm going to leave that one. And what color should we do this guy? Let's do him purple, because we can. Give him a nice purple feel on his belly. We don't have any purple birds here where I live, but I'm sure there's some in the world. Or you can, you know, add the browns and the tinges of color and just a soft touch of purples, like it's the feathers. Oh no, we have purple martins. Now this is not a martin, but we do have purple martins here by the water. Forgot about them. So when they fly and their sunlight catches their wings, they turn bright, bright purple, which is really cool. So again, just you can do like an implied reflection of color as they're sitting there. Just catching the light with their wings and their feathers. So let's go back into some purple here. Drop that in. Well, let me know what you think about these stamps. If you think that the birds are a good shape, if the quality of the stamp is good on the impression that when I print it, because feedback's valuable. All right. Very subtle beak there. There we go, we got a purple bird. So you can see how you really have fun with these. And then you can cut them out and frame them. So take a little bit of orange background paper. Just really have fun. Okay, let's go back to this one. So he's pretty dry now. I want to take a pen or a pencil of some kind. What have I got out? Let's see. Got this guy. Let's give him a go. Make sure he works, because sometimes I keep pens and they don't work. See? I don't know why. I have a problem throwing out pens and paper. I need help. Just want a black pen. There we go. Just a ballpoint pen, GP one. And I might just pull out just a little bit back of the initial stamp, just to give him a little detail that I might have overshot when it came to watercoloring him. And also it kind of gives it an elevated texture as well. So kind of feathery texture. I love the look of pen with watercolor. It's kind of my go-to. And if you're not sure, again, just put the stamp in front of you and you can see the positive and negative. So the dark full spots is where the ink would have transferred. Just gonna give it a little something in here. I really like how this is softened right out from background to foreground, so I don't want to touch that. That's the kind of look I was after in my head. Let's give the wood some texture here. Really play with your stamps. See what you've got in your collection, what you can enhance. And just play with and doodle to get that overall effect you're looking for. And then I might just, because I've introduced this element, I might introduce it to the background as well. And then I'll sign it. So you can see here all the kind of fun textures and elements you can enhance with your stamps. And you can really go to town, you know, you can really add all kinds of stuff, sketches, whatever, if you've got other stamps to enhance your image as well. So where's my, I always use this guy. This is obviously not my design, but it's nice to mix stamps in, and maybe I want a little something in the background. I'll just use that. There we go. I like it, just like that. You could use white marker too. You could use just about anything you want. So I'm going to slide it back in my little journal here that I'm working on. A little romantic inspired journal. And now I've got a cute little work of art. So there we go. Let me know what you guys think. I hope this gives you some ideas and inspiration and ways to color and play with your stamps. I'm sure it's nothing new, but these stamps are new to me. And I really enjoy how PM Art Studios takes my drawings and turns them into these really adorable stamps. So we will be doing, I'll be doing another one with the mushrooms. So stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe button and notification if you're interested, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Well, have a great day. Bye.